They say that death is the only known terminus, and that all must die. And yet are there not immortal elves sprung from the thought of Eru Ilúvatar? Do the Dracoliches deep in musty, long-forgotten caverns at the roots of Faerun not languish in their ill-begotten state, eternal, unchanging, as the eons pass them by? The gods themselves, in Valinor, Asgard, and atop Mount Olympus, enjoy their ever-youth of life unending, eternal spring. I say, nay. You are mistaken, my young, naive apprentice. You look at yourself, and even though you are a man of but 8 and 10 summers, you feel you have experienced the world. The years stretch out before you, seemingly unending, since the few pearls on the string of life you have already experienced appear as practically an eternity. And given that you can perhaps expect to endure thrice, nay, 4 times that in your secluded haven here in our bibliographical sanctuary, you feel yourself practically immortal, as though the sword of time shall ne'er pierce your skin. If you, mere mortal man, can feel so impervious to the blows of time, when the gods, elves, and other beings, that though they may be slain by sword, and sometimes even cast from on high unto their ruin, shall never grow old, ne'er fall prey to the illness or other things that plague men and lesser beings, nor let the years weigh them down in these worlds that we sometimes call Fantasia. I shall once again rebuke you, and once again tell you that you are wrong. I am old. I have seen many places and lived many lives. I have let my shins brush unclad against the long strands of grass in Elysium. I have wandered the glades and looked up at the bright stars in the forested hunting grounds of Orome. I have bathed upon the sandy shore on the island of Calypso as the king of Ithaca came ashore. I have delved, engrossed, without thought for sleep or sustenance, in the great library of Candlekeep. But that is not all. I have sought the forbidden knowledge of the Ifriti in their hidden redoubt beneath the deepest cellars of the Blue Flame Tavern in the city of Brass. I have scoured the catacombs of Atuan and disturbed the hitherto unperturbed dust. I have perused the long-forgotten and some say banished tomes of the private library of the stewards of Gondor in their great collection at Minas Tirith. I have even signed a great accord with the dread Asmodeus to learn what he knew of the occult and the universal secret of the universe. Something even the immortal Count Paracelsus, Olaus Wormius, Hiram Abif, and the mad Arab Abdul al-Hazred did not dare to do. Even my dear friend Saruman, who spoke to the Dark Lord Sauron daily, feared to approach the Lord of the Ninth. And yet not even the Lord of the Ninth had the final answers for me. None of these encounters and none of my long reading, nor any of the high and mighty lords of forbidden knowledge gave me the truth, which I am now to impart upon you, my young, foolish, and most ungrateful student. All these travels, the encounters with these mighty beings who shared by beneficence, through necessity, or by being tricked by guile, gave me nothing, because they were all encounters with the living, who, just like you, my foolish young apprentice, have not gained the wisdom to see that they were all, even the mightiest, but grains of sand lost in an ocean, moths, frail and perishable, an instant here, gone the next, like an errant candle spluttering in a hurricane. No, for the only truth you need to know is this: life is fleeting, death eternal. Even the overgods of worlds like Ea, Toril, and Oath will one day end. The multiverse has an inception, a middle, and a finale. It is the way of things. There is no encore after the last star of the last universe has winked out of existence. The deities are linked inexorably to their planes and worlds that house them. The Eldar are certainly deathless in Arda, but Arda has an end, a definitive and final end, long after the superficial break that we call Dagorath, the battle of all battles, after which the world shall be remade. In Ragnarök, Thor may slay the Midgard serpent, and out of the ashes of a burning world of man, a new first man and first woman shall awake. But this end marks but a stopover, a slightly larger pearl on the long string that is the history of the multiverse. When the final end comes to any world, there shall be no respite or continuation for god or man or elf or any other creature, dwarf, hobbit, gnome, dragon that calls this world home. That is why I tell you, one third and final time, my young and doubly unwise apprentice, death is the only constant. It is the only truth worth knowing. It is not the opposite of life, but its solitary goal, an unyielding companion. That is why I have chosen to study it. That is why you too, though unwitting of your true motive, only presently glimpsed in your worst nightmares and remembered fleetingly in profound headaches and sweaty sheets the morrow after, have become my apprentice. For if we study the end, we may for a spell at least postpone it. We may call out, Charon, and his whimpering dog, tarry not for me, for I shall abide a while upon this dismal shore. Push thy vessel off, and travel the Stygian course without me to Pharasma's boneyard. Master Lucius laid down his skull-tipped staff on the old grey wooden bench and pushed his copy of the dreaded Necronomicon across his tallow-ridden reading pulpit over to his pupil Anso, so that he also might damn himself for all eternity by perusing its unholy pages.